Welcome everyone to the introduction to cloud computing session. So this session is about introduction to AWS mainly. And before we start with the technical stuff, let me introduce myself. So my name is Neeraj and I have 16 plus year of experience in IT industry. I started my career with Java. Later on, I moved to Hadoop and big data. When the big data was on boom, I was working on big data. And at the same time, I was also training people on the big data. And now from last around 6 years, I'm working on AWS Cloud. And at the same time, I'm training the people on AWS Cloud. So I have around 10 plus year of experience on online training. And this is my day-to-day work, which I'm doing on AWS. And at the same time, you can notice here that I am AWS certified professional solution architect. And like 2, 3 years back, I got a chance to work on Google Cloud as well. That is GCP, Google Cloud Platform. So that point of time, I got myself certified as a professional cloud architect. Okay, so this is a quick introduction about me. It's today's demo now. So let me start with the first slide. Okay, so the agenda for today's demo is what is cloud computing, cloud service providers, cloud service model, benefits of cloud computing, limitation of cloud computing, and AWS trial account creation. Since today is the first class, or you can say demo class, I will keep today's class very light. That's why we have spent around 10 to 15 minutes on the introduction itself. Okay, so we will be talking about all these things today. And the last point, but not the least, is very important, AWS trial account creation, so that tomorrow onwards we can do our things practically. Okay, so let's start with the first one. What is cloud computing? I think nowadays everyone is very well aware about cloud computing because everything is being moved to cloud. Gone are the days when companies were investing in buying very heavy hardwares, and they have to maintain, and they need a separate maintenance team, or you can say separate infrastructure team to manage their uh, servers and all, right? So companies nowadays, because they want to do suppose some POC, the POC will go only for 1 month, right? They're not sure whether they will get the project or not. They are not even aware about what type of data load they will be facing, right? So considering all these things, they are not interested to invest a lot of money on buying the hardware, because suppose your POC is done after 1 month, what you will do with that infrastructure? Instead of that, you can simply take some resources on the rent. So cloud is nothing but a set of remote servers. For us it's a cloud, like it's a remote, but ultimately somewhere on the earth those servers will be physically located in some data center, right? So we will get remote access, so that you don't have to worry about the infrastructure, their physical security, their network security, their maintenance. That's not your concern. You can simply remotely log into those servers and you can get your work done. That's the ultimate purpose of cloud. I usually give a very layman example. I will just take 2 minutes of that example. Suppose you are going to Goa for a trip, right? New Year trip. After going there for 1 week of trip, definitely you will not buy a car over there. That's not a good idea, right? But yes, you can take a car on rent, and then you can definitely enjoy your trip, and definitely you can return the car back to the renting company. That's a good option because you don't need for a longer time. It's good to take something on rent. The same thing is applicable on the cloud services nowadays. Okay, so access to the server and services are made available to you. It's not only about hardware. All along with hardware, there are many services available which will make your life easy, make your day-to-day activities easy, so that you can even pay for those services as per your uses, and you can do your daily work. And all these are on demand self service. That means out of 100 services you need only 5 services, so you can opt for it. And whatever amount of usage, suppose you are using only 5 hours a day, you need to pay only for that. Auto scaling of hardware, in case you need to scale up or scale down. For example, you are running an e-commerce website and you are planning a big billion sale, or you are planning some Republic Day sale, and you are expecting that the number of requests or the traffic on your website will be like 10 times. during those sale period, maybe 3 days, 5 days, right? So only for those 5 days you want to increase your capacity, not permanently, not forever. So that's possible with cloud. They will upgrade your capacity only for those 5 days. That means they will be charging only for those 5 days. Okay, and all these are cloud managed services. That means at runtime, how to add more server, how to remove the server, how to increase the capacity, everything is taken care by cloud. That's not your headache. And the last but not the least is pay as you go. It's only chargeable whatever amount of time you are using their services. That's the best part. If I have very small data load and every day in the morning I just need some server for 30 minutes, so definitely I don't want to pay for entire 24 hours. I will just pay for 30 minutes, and that's possible with cloud. Okay, so although this slide is very high level, but in case you have to if you have any doubt, or it's not always about doubts, you may have something to add on so that everyone else can get benefit from there, you can even add to this. Okay, so if you have any doubt, feel free to unmute yourself and you can ask. Let's try to make this session as interactive as possible. Okay, seems like there is no doubt, so I'm moving to the next slide. The next slide is cloud service provider. Okay, so there are majorly three cloud service provider. AWS, that is Amazon Web Services. The second one is Microsoft Azure from Microsoft. And the third one is GCP, Google Cloud Platform from Google. Apart from these three, there are many more small level cloud service provider. Like Oracle is also one of the service provider. There is Alibaba Cloud, and there are many more. But these are the major cloud service provider available in the market. And if I talk about these three, AWS is definitely, without any doubt, leading the market because AWS started its cloud operations long back. Later on, Microsoft and Google also jumped into this area and they are quite new. Although the nowadays services are almost similar, they may have a different naming convention. Like in AWS, we call it as EC2, that is Elastic Compute Cloud. On Azure, we call it as a virtual machine, or Google Cloud, we call it as a compute engine. So the point is like they use different terminology, but ultimately the concept, the service is same. So my purpose of saying this is that in case you have experience on any cloud, that will be beneficial in case you are working on some other cloud. Suppose you are coming from a Microsoft Azure background and now you have joined a new company and they are using AWS. So you don't have to worry about. Don't think that you don't have experience on AWS because the term would be different, but the concept and services would be less or more similar. I have worked on Google Cloud and AWS. I am certified on Google Cloud and AWS both, and I know very well that the concept and the services are almost same. Okay, so before we move to the next slide, we have some doubts on the chat. Let me quickly check all this. Okay, so there's a question from Chaitanya. Difference between big data and cloud services. Big data was a old concept where you were setting up your infrastructure by yourself. For example, you have to deal with terabytes and petabytes of data. So definitely one system is not sufficient for that. So what you would do is you will set up a cluster. We call it as a cluster where there is a master machine and there are slave machines. So suppose there is a one master and 20 slaves. So what we do is we submit our job to the master machine. As a user, we always interact with master machine only, and after that it's master machine's responsibility to split that task into smaller tasks and assign it to multiple slave system so that those multiple slave system can easily process your large amount of data in less amount of time. And finally, someone has to consolidate the output because now the output is available on 20 different systems. So there is a concept map reduce, if you have heard about it. So map is something which runs on every slave system and reduce is something which will consolidate your output, and finally the master machine will intimate it that this is the final output. So I will not spend more time on explaining the big data, but the major difference is big data was mainly on premise. That means you have your own cluster, you have your own setup. Now with the help of cloud, if you want to run big data job on cloud, is that possible? Yes, that's possible. AWS provide a service with the name EMR. That means Elastic Map Reduce. That means the big data job, the Hadoop job, all those jobs which you were running on your local cluster, the same job, now you don't have to worry about infra, you can execute on the cloud. Cloud is completely like remote and managed by the service provider. You don't have to worry about infra, networking, physical security, network security, scaling up, nothing. The only thing you have to worry about is just prepare your job and run it on the cloud. Okay, I hope I answer your question, Chaitanya.
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
Yeah. Okay, so let's move to the next
So,
slide.
sorry to interrupt. Before going forward,
Yeah, please
so
go ahead.
even AWS has these kind of clusters, or is it
Yes,
something like, oh, okay.
we do
Oh,
have
they do have
the
clusters. Oh, okay.
yes, the name of the service is EMR. Let me send on the chat.
No, no, not. Uh, so when I mean, I read somewhere. So
Oh,
don't think I don't. I mean, I don't have any knowledge, but just trying to analyze, compare few things on what I've learned. So something like big data has some clusters. That's what you're saying now, and
yes,
AWS also have some clusters.
yes.
So is it like similar?
No, 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 not
Similarly,
similar
like
because
you have
AWS.
partition. Uh-huh.
No, no, AWS is very big thing. Big data is only one part. Big data is just
Okay.
splitting your job into multiple parts and running it on multiple system. So that facility
Got it.
is also available on AWS. But AWS is not only
Okay.
about that. Apart from that, there are many
Okay.
100 plus more services available with AWS.
Got it. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, any other doubt till this slide? It may not be related to the slide. If you have any doubt related to cloud, you can ask. Okay, let's move to the next slide. The next is cloud service model. When you are looking for some service, right? Rental service, it depends upon you like what type of services you are looking for. I will again compare with that Goa trip example. That would be very easy to understand. So, are you looking only for a car for rental and one of your friend will drive the car? That's one possibility, right? Another possibility is you may think that okay, I don't want to drive in a different new city. I'm not aware about the routes and everything. And rather I would like to enjoy with my friends and let's hire a driver also. That also you can do. The company will provide you a car, they will provide you the driver, and you have to pay separately for driver and for the car. Now, addition to driver, there can be one more thing. You may think that okay, we need a guide also, so that we can explore many more things and we can make our trip even more memorable. So, if the same company, if they are providing the guides as well, so they will provide one guide to you, and again they will be charging for that guide as well, right? Now, let's fit this example into the cloud. So, the lower part, the base is infrastructure as a service. That means you are looking only for infrastructure, only for some server. Now, what you will install on your server, that's completely up to you. That you don't want to be dependent on the cloud. Suppose AWS, right? So you will ask AWS that please provide me one Windows server or one Linux server or one Red Hat server. And after that, whatever we want to do, we will do that from our side. That is the base part, infrastructure. After that, the next is platform as a service. In short, it is called PaaS, platform as a service. That means, along with infrastructure, AWS will provide some platform where you can do your development. That means you don't have to worry about now installing Java, installing Python, installing some development tool or something. They will provide both the things, hardware, that is server, along with that, some platform. So your team can immediately start working from very first day. So suppose new team member is joining my team, I can immediately give access to the platform so the users can immediately start working. And as a user, I don't have to worry about installation of Python and installation of tool and development tool. I can immediately start working. And as a user, I don't have to worry about installation of tool and development tool. I can immediately start working. And as a user, I don't have to worry about installation of Python and installation of tool and development tool. I can immediately start working. And as a user, I don't have to worry about installation of Python and installation of tool and their security patches, and suppose some newer version is coming, I'm not concerned about it. Cloud will take care of that. And on top of that, forget about platform. On platform, what you will do, you will do coding, you will do some development, right? Ultimately the end product you have developed. So software as a service nowadays, suppose earlier, in if I talk about 10 years back, we were installing like Adobe Photoshop, right? And we were editing the photo. So that means I have to install that software on my laptop. That will be consuming my laptop's memory, laptop storage, and then only I will be able to edit the photos. But nowadays, you don't actually need to install all these things on your system, right? There are many websites, so softwares are available as a service. You simply suppose you are paying some monthly subscription for any photo editing service. You go to that website, log in into that. Since you have already paid, right? So all the tools and services are available on that website itself, and you use it. That's all. Neither it will consume your system's RAM, because ultimately your photo will be uploaded first. The very first step is upload your photo, and then photo editing will be actually happening on the remote server. And finally, once the final outcome is there, you can download that photo. So the point is that the end software is available as a service. You can pay for 7 days, pay for 1 month, pay for 1 year, and you can use that service. You don't have to install anything on your system. So you can see now, we have an infrastructure as a service, we have a platform as a service, and we have a software as a service. It completely depends on your requirement. You only looking for a hardware, or you are looking for a development environment, or you are looking for the end software that would be available on the cloud. As I said, that there are 100 plus services, and you can choose whatever you like. Okay, so you don't have to go into much detail like what these terms are. Definitely no one will be asking in the interviews like what is the full form of PaaS, what is the full form of SaaS. But yes, you should be aware, so that in case some people are discussing something, some people are saying okay, software as a service, infrastructure as a service, so you should be able to understand what they are talking about. Okay, so I will take a pause here. In case you have any doubt till this slide, you can ask. Okay, seems like there is no doubt, so let's move. The next is benefits of cloud computing. If everyone is moving from on premise to cloud, or in other words, I would say people were processing the large amount of data with big data services, and now they are moving to cloud. So definitely there are some benefits, right? Then only things are moving towards cloud. Let's quickly check what are the benefits. The first benefit is cost saving. When we started the demo, I was explaining that companies nowadays not interested in invest a huge amount of money just for setting up the infrastructure. That's not a good idea, because the IT is very dynamic. You are getting a project, and suppose after 2 months, after 6 months, you are not continuing that project, or you are just getting a POC, or there can be many more things, right? So, and they are interested to explore more on the technology side, not on the infrastructure part, right? So pay as per your uses. If you are not using your server for entire day, they will not be charging anything. Shortly I will talk about creating a trial account, and then I will explain that if you are creating a server, and after creating the server you are shutting it down, it won't charge you anything. Your data, whatever, suppose you started your server and you did something on that server, you have some data on that server, and after that you stopped it. So your data is still safe, data is still there, but still they are not charging because server is not up and running. That's very good thing. If in 1 week you just need to start your server only for 1 hour, they will be charging only for that 1 hour. Okay, and with trial account, we get some free uses as well. That means even if you are running 2 hours a day, even that's like free of cost available. So we'll talk about all these things once we will create our trial account. Okay, the next is scalability and flexibility. That means you don't have to start very big deployment. Suppose you are doing a small POC and you are saying, okay, at this point of time, I don't need like hundreds of server, because right now I'm testing something. We have only 4 or 5 developers, and we should be good with 2 servers, or we are even good with 1 server. But yes, Once my POC is successful, once my idea is recognized and it's a good idea and my company is ready to invest and we want to start very big development, then you can opt for 50 server or 100 server. Both are possible with cloud. So you can see this scale on demand, big billion day sale. Like some India Pakistan cricket match is going on and millions of people are watching match on Hotstar, right? So only for that one day, they will increase the capacity. Cloud will increase the capacity at run time like anything. And scale down also. Suppose there is no traffic at any point of time. Suppose at midnight there is no traffic, it can even scale down to zero. That means since there is no traffic, since there is services are not being used, cloud will not be charging anything to you. Okay. Coming to the next one, reliability. Because you are completely reliable on cloud now, so your data is safe with cloud with redundant sites. The meaning of redundant sites means they keep duplicate copy of your data. Because suppose you uploaded your data into cloud and now you are like rest assured that okay, my data is safe. But suppose your data is available in some server located in Mumbai and unfortunately there is a flood or there is anything, anything else, right? Natural calamity, some war, some attacks, anything. In that case, will you be losing your data? Yes, you may lose only that copy of data, but behind the scene, cloud maintains duplicate copy of data on a different geographical location. That means exactly same copy of the data will be available in some US data center as well. So in case you are not able to read the data from one site due to any reason, cloud will provide you the alternate copy from a different geographical location, and that's completely transparent to you. That means you never know like from where data is coming, and neither you need to know. They will provide you the data. They maintains duplicate copy of data on different three, at least minimum three different geographical location. So it supports disaster recovery. That means in case something is down because of any reason, within few seconds, within few minutes, it will quickly redirect your request to a alternate location and your application, your e-commerce website or whatever it is will be operational again. Okay. And the last is maintenance. As we said, right? As a developer, as a user, we can concentrate only on running and developing our jobs. Remaining part, whether it's upgrading your system or security patches or any other maintenance, right? That would be completely taken care by your cloud service provider. So these are the benefits. Anyone is having any doubt, or in case you would like to add any more benefit, please feel free to do that.
Hey, hi. One quick check. So in the maintenance,
Mhm.
so something like you're doing some production push or some, um, I mean, I don't know the terminology, is it like a development push was there.
Okay.
So was it taken care by the Amazon services team, the infrastructure team, or do we have a separate, I mean, like, is it like in-house team will take care of it?
No, AWS will take care.
Mm.
AWS will ask us for a maintenance window because definitely when they will do maintenance, your jobs can get affected, right? So they will ask us like what is the preferable maintenance window. So suppose I am aware that my jobs are not running on Sunday. So I will tell them that okay, Sunday 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. IST, I'm good to go for maintenance. That's the only thing we have to do. Just select some maintenance window. During that maintenance window, AWS team will do the patching or upgrading or any maintenance work.
Oh, that's okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
Okay. So this is all about benefits. And moving to the next slide, that is limitation of cloud computing. Although cloud is very popular and everyone is running towards cloud, but in this world there is nothing which has only benefits and which does not have any limitation. That's definitely not possible. So let's talk about what are the challenges, what are the limitations of cloud computing. And definitely there's a trade off, right? There is some limitation, there are some benefits. According to your need, you can decide, okay, yeah, these limitations are okay. I'm okay with it, but I'm looking more for the benefits and I'm good to migrate my applications, my data to the cloud. So the first thing is completely dependent on internet. That's true. In old days, if I talk about my initial days when I joined IT, everything was on local, and whether you are connected to internet or not was not making much difference. The only thing is you were not able to check your emails, but as far as your development work is there, you can still do your development work. But nowadays, nothing is on local, everything is on the cloud. Whether you are doing coding, you are testing something, you are deploying something, each and everything is on the cloud. That means if your internet is down for 1 hour, your entire team is non-productive during that 1 hour. That's one of the challenge. But with the advancement of internet availability, I think that should not be a challenge. Okay, so the next is, without internet, the application is not accessible. That's true. Leakage of sensitive information. That's very important thing, specifically with banking clients. Because when you, as a cloud service provider, suppose you are approaching a banking client and you are telling them, okay, you are doing a lot of analytics and you are doing a lot of accounting, and let's migrate your data to cloud. The very first thing they will be worried about is the data security, because they have very, you can say, sensitive data, right? The people's information, their address, their contact details, their bank balance, and many more stuff. So most of the time, banking are not that much comfortable to migrate their stuff over the cloud. Although cloud will guarantee you for the data safety, data security, and everything, but still, unfortunately, if something happens on the cloud, and then you don't know who is was having how much of bank balance, and everything will be messed up. So what banking people are doing is, nowadays there's a concept of, you can say, hybrid cloud. Hybrid cloud means, specifically for banking, the service provider will say, okay, if you feel that something is very critical, you keep it with your infrastructure, I mean, keep it with on premise, and remaining things which you think that is less sensitive, suppose they are doing some analytics, and for analytics they don't actually need uh, the personal information of the customer. They want to know, like, what are the areas people are using their credit card, what are the least amount, what are the highest amount, and they want to find out some trend. So for finding out some trends, they don't actually need the, like, identification of the person, right? So for such analytical type of stuff, they can migrate to the cloud, and whatever is very critical information, they can still keep on their premise, and cloud will make sure that your own premise services and own cloud services can interact with each other without any issue. With help of this hybrid cloud, now banking are also okay, they are saying, okay, these things please migrate, and these things we will keep on our local, and let's, I mean, everything should work as expected. The communication should be there between on premise and on cloud services. Okay, so you can see this exchange info between on premise and a cloud. Okay, so this can be challenging. I'm not saying it's impossible, but definitely it's difficult, because now everything is not at one place. Few things are on premises and few things are on cloud. So AWS has to put some extra effort, some extra networking, so that these applications can communicate with each other. And the last one is monopoly of service provider. That's very important point. We are suffering from this in my current project. I will tell you, we are using one tool, and you won't believe, they are charging for the hardware, because we are using the hardware, right? On top of that hardware, that application is installed, so they are charging for that application also, and the charges are too high. And every 6 months they send an email in advance that, okay, from this date the charges would be increased. Instead of $120 per hour, it would be $150 per hour. Since there is no other competitor of that tool, that means they will do their monopoly. You have to pay $150, and after 6 months, if they say they will charge 180 or 200, you have to pay for it. Okay, that happens in every industry actually. If there is no competitor, they can do some monopoly. So that can be possible at some point of time. If you are completely dependent on cloud service provider for hardware, for services, for platform, for everything, at some point of time you may think that, okay, now the cost is increasing because they are charging for each and everything, and they are increasing the cost continuously. Okay, so these are the limitations. And in case you have any doubt till this point, you can ask.
So the monopoly of service provider, that point, right? So we still have Microsoft Azure,
Yeah, you do
GCP.
have, but definitely if you are taking one service from one cloud, another service from another cloud, it would be again like networking would be required between them. It's not a good idea. If everything is on one cloud service provider, it would be very smooth, like communication wise and integration wise and use of ease. I mean, that would be good.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Okay, let's move to the next slide. The next one is creating a AWS trial account.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Uh, so, so we still have an option to integrate these three, right?
Absolutely. They nowadays every cloud service is integrable with each other, and there are many third-party softwares also available which are compatible with all the cloud service provider. For example, you are using one third-party tool and you are using a cloud service, so it's very well integrated with AWS. Tomorrow you are planning to go for Microsoft Azure, so the same tool can be integrated with Microsoft Azure as well. So nowadays everything is cloud
Oh, okay,
compatible.
okay.
The
No,
only
no, I'm
thing is like
asking like
suppose.
from my,
Hmm?
uh-huh. No, no, my question was like if I'm using AWS services,
Hmm.
some service, I don't know, mostly like storage, let's take.
Hmm.
So I want to run, I mean, like I want to keep the storage in AWS and run some software applications in Azure
You can
and
do that.
do some analytics in GCP.
That's possible.
Oh, we can. Oh, okay,
Yeah,
okay.
technically that's
Nice. I
possible.
mean, I was.
Technically that's possible, but
Mhm.
definitely you have to manage three different cloud, and right. And when you are using all the services from one cloud, there are different discount schemes as well. If you are suppose reserving something that okay, I will use this hardware for next three years, you can pay in one go, and definitely there will be some 30 to 40% discount. There are many things on a high level. If you are going with one service from one cloud service provider, another service from another cloud service provider, definitely you won't be getting those discount benefits. So technically it's possible, but if you consider cost point of view, that's not a good idea.
Copy, copy.
Okay, any other doubts before we move to the AWS trial account? Okay, so give me a moment. I will show you how to do that. Okay, so you can go to simply Google and type AWS trial account. Okay, I think something else has opened. Let me go back. Okay, so you can see this one AWS free tier. Free tier means they will provide you a free account for 1 year. There are few things which you have to remember. First thing is it will be free only for 1 year. After completion of 12 months, it will start charging. But that 1 year should be sufficient, right? Our training will go for 6 weeks, and even after that, for next few months, you can do your practice. Second thing is free does not mean unlimited free. Free has some limitation, but the limit is too good that you can do your practice very well. Suppose let's take an example. For one server, they are providing like around 750 hours per month. 750 hours per month means if you keep one server running 24 by 7, even in that case, in 30 days, it will be 720 hours only, right? So ultimately, the limit is too good. But if you are launching, suppose 10 servers by mistake or whatever, right? If you are launching 10 server and you forget to stop them, those 10 servers are running 24 by 7. So your 750 hours will be finished in 10 days. And for remaining 20 days, it will be chargeable to you. So the thing is, whenever you are launching any service in AWS, tomorrow onwards, I will show you how to do that. Make sure that once you are done with with your practice, please stop it to avoid any unnecessary cost to your account. Okay, so you can click on create a free account. Okay, So you can see here it's asking for root user email address. What do we mean by root user? Root user means you have the full privilege, you are the account admin. So initially, you can put your email address over here and put some AWS account name as well. Account name, you can put anything. Usually, suppose in my team, we are working on three different AWS account. One is for development, one is for testing, one is for production. So we have given some name like your project name hyphen dev. So suppose our project name is anything. I would say alpha. Okay, alpha hyphen dev. That's my account name. Another can be alpha hyphen testing, alpha hyphen prod. So this is only for your reference so that you can understand that okay, this is my dev account, this is my production account, and all that stuff. And then you click on verify email address. Apart, once you verify your email address, the next thing it will ask is, I don't have any screenshot, but ultimately it will ask for your credit card information, and that's the important and mandatory step. But don't worry, they won't be charging anything. They will be charging, I think, only 2 rupees to INR, and in case you are in US, they will be charging $1 or $2, and that will be refunded back within 1 or 2 days. That's only for your card verification purpose. So because our card is registered, that's why we have to be very careful that we don't keep the servers or any services running. As soon as we are done with our practice, let's stop it. Let's make a habit of stopping the services. Otherwise, at the end of the month, it may be chargeable to you. But I'm telling you from my experience, I'm using this type of trial account from last 4 to 5 years, and I haven't paid anything. Every year I create a trial account which I use for my training purpose, for my personal experiment purpose, and I don't pay anything for that. Okay, so let me come back to the slides, and I think the last slide was this one. You can see here. So once you will verify your email address, you have to provide your credit card information, and you can see this screenshot. We will not charge for usage below AWS free tier limits. We temporarily hold INR2 as a pending transaction for 3 to 5 days to verify your identity. Within 3 to 5 days, your 2 rupees or $2, whatever it is, it will be refunded back. So ultimately, there are no charges to you. Okay, so this is all about how to create a AWS trial account, and usually it takes around 24 hours to activate the account because they will verify your card information, and after 24 hours on your registered email, you will get the information that your account is ready for use now. In my case, my account is already ready, so I will quickly log in and quickly show you. So this is my account, and I have already put my email ID. As you can see here, Neeraj AWS June 2023. So June 2023, I created this trial account, and this will be running till this June 2024. Okay, so I will click on next. It will ask for my password, and I will click on sign in. And one additional thing is, you can notice here, along with the password, it's asking for some MFA code. This is for making your account even more secure. Just so, just like nowadays in Gmail, right? We add our number, and along with password, it will send some code so that it's a like two-factor authentication. As you know, your card is registered with your trial account. If someone get access to your account somehow, right, in that case, if suppose deliberately someone launched 100 server, and those 100 servers are running from last 1 week and you are not even aware, at the end of the month, that huge amount of money will be charged to your card because your card is registered. So it's very important to add this two-factor authentication to your trial account. How to add it, I will explain maybe in tomorrow's class, but as of now, there's an application on my phone, and it displays some code which I need to enter here. 707664. Okay, so with the help of my email address, my password, and that MFA code, I'm able to log in into my AWS console. So I will not spend more time on this. Maybe tomorrow we'll start with our practical stuff, but this is how you can create your trial account and how you can log in into your AWS console. If anyone is having any doubt, you can ask me. Okay, give me a moment. I will be opening the detailed course content, and then I will explain like what we will be covering in the 6 week training program. In the meantime, if you are having any doubt, that can be technical, non-technical, timing, anything, you can ask.
Yeah, Neeraj, I'm more interested in the course content and the timing and how long it's going to take, and what after completion of the course you guys provide job support or placement, or what kind of services you're going to provide. That's what I'm interested in it.
Okay, sure. Let me share my screen back. Sorry. Okay. So first of all, this training program is 6 week duration. The timing would be Monday to Friday. That would be India morning time, and the same would be Sunday to Thursday US evening time. So I think from my last 10 year of experience, this is a suitable timing because definitely US, right, Friday evening no one is interested to join the classes. So that's why it would be Sunday to Thursday evening US time. The same is Monday to Friday India morning time. This training is for AWS data engineer. And on high level, what we will do, I can share this detailed course content with all of you after the training. You can go through each and every point. But on a high level, I will tell this thing we have already done today: introduction to cloud computing, introduction to AWS, how to create a trial account. This billing alerts and brief introduction to AWS services that maybe we can do tomorrow. Okay. After that, IAM. IAM is related to permissions in AWS. That's very important thing. In AWS, each and every small thing you do is driven through permissions. That means as a root account, as a root user, you can create more users and you can decide what different services they can use. And not only services, what different operation they can perform. Suppose there's a third party, you can say consumers, right? You only allow them to read the data, not editing the data, not deleting the data. So you can do that. For your team, you would give the full permission, like they can edit, they can delete, they can read. So that's completely possible. And how to do that, we'll be doing practically most probably in tomorrow's class. Okay. There are different things like uh, overview of IAM service, root account versus IAM user, MFA, multi-factor authentication. Today when I logged in, I entered some code, right? How to set up that? Because initially when you will create your trial account, this MFA will not be enabled. You will enter your email address, your password, and you will be logged in into your AWS account. But that's not very secure. So to add one more layer of security, we need to enable MFA that I will explain in tomorrow's class. And many more things are there: IAM users, IAM groups, IAM roles, and many more things which we will explain in more detail. After that, the next service is S3, that is about storage. We'll explore that. EC2, EC2 is nothing but the remote server. We'll explore that. EC2 advanced, that also will do practically. Everything will be practical from tomorrow's onwards. Then AWS networking part, how multiple services, how multiple servers are interacting with each other, how the services outside of the cloud. I was giving example of banking, right? One service is running on your premises in the bank, and that service is trying to connect to a service that is running on the cloud. How they will interact with each other. All these things we will be talking in this section. Lambda is one of the service in AWS. We'll explore that practically. Load balancing is there, load balancer. We'll explore that. Route 53 is a again networking service like IP address and domain name. How to, instead of IP address, how to use a domain name for different services and different routing policies, that we will explore. Database services. Glue is one database service, Athena is another one, Redshift is another one, RDS is there, DynamoDB is there. We'll explore all these things practically. Security options: CloudWatch, CloudTrail, Secret Manager, KMS, SNS, SES, SQS, ACM. So you don't need to remember all these things. We will explore all these things one by one. And infrastructure management, CloudFormation is there. CI/CD, or of CI/CD, or of Git, code commit, code build, code deploy, code pipeline. These are four service is provided by AWS, which is related to CI/CD things. Then we'll start with Python. Basics of Python. We'll talk about PySpark basics and some PySpark advanced. Okay, so this will be completed in 6 weeks. Every day I will be recording the session and I will be sharing the recording, and I will be sharing this type of material like PDF or any sample data file, anything, whatever I will demonstrate during the class, the same thing will be shared after the class. Okay, so that's all from my side. Anyone is having any doubt related to content, related to timing, related to anything, you can ask.
Thanks, Neeraj.